Hi guys, and welcome to the African Unite First. If this is the first time here, good morning, good afternoon, good evening, depending on where you're watching from. Right, if you haven't subscribed, please go ahead and do so. Like, share, and click on the bell notification so whenever I upload, you will be notified. If you want to be part of our offline meeting, the Solution Code, where we talk about really important issues that are affecting us as Black people globally, please go ahead and follow me on Instagram, write me an email. The link will be in the description of this video. Right, today we have a very important guest that will be joining us very soon. For this, provocative, thoughts, right? So today's topic is the Black woman is God, right? God, the woman was created before the man. Because I truly believe that we should challenge many of these concepts that was shoved to our truth, as people, right? Because what we normally do, we just accept a whole lot of and a bunch of ideologies and concepts, that has been thrown to us without actually challenging it and, further researching what actually is facts and the truth. Now, I do believe that these thoughts can be challenged, and it can be challenged, and a lot of that I'm also open to correction, and I'm open to debate. So it's all about your facts and not feelings, all right? So if you think that the man was created or formed before the woman, please comment comment down below, comment in the chat. Let me see your point of view and your thought. But if you think that the woman was created or formed before the man, again, let me see in your comments. Let me see your thoughts in the comments, right? All right, so the universe of cosmic egg, Pirium, is that a cosmic egg was created and formed Hi, the home girl healer. How you doing? I see you, sister. Right, so I have written down some of my points. Right, before our guest will be joining us, I have written down some of my points. I have done my research about this topic, right? And I would want all of you to go and do your research. This thought can be challenged, right? So we want to educate ourselves. We want to put encourage our people to challenge some of this concept. And again, we'll be going into the spiritual aspect, why it has become what it is today, presently, right? So the the universe of cosmic egg, Pirium, is that a cosmic egg was created and formed and generated everything, and that in the egg still is the semblance of first creation. Things starts from an egg, whether it will be a hard shell finish or little ovum attached to the uterus wall. Now, which came first? Please indicate again in the chat room. I'm going to ask this question: the chicken or the egg? So what is your thought on that? Which came first, the chicken or the egg? Comment in the chat room, please. Which came first, the chicken or the egg? Now, in 1975, they connected a vibrational detective device to an unfertilized egg, and they got a rhythmic, pulsive beat, just like a human, heartbeat or pulse. Guys, I want you to comment. I want to see the chicken. This question: the chicken and the egg, which came first? Which is first? I want to see I want to see your point of view. I want to see, what you think about this, right? Now, growing up as, as a child in Africa, right? I've always questioned the concept of creation, the concept of um, the ideology about Adam and Eve, right? All of those things, right? That the man was created, and then the woman was created from, was formed out from the man. I mean, let's look at it based on facts, because that is just a big fat lie, because that cannot even, it's fiction. It's fiction. And we have been feeding our minds on that for decades, right? For decades. So a whole lot of us, we think that, yeah, the man was created first, the man was formed first, the man is this. But I want you to understand that before it all gets to this point, something has transpired. Something has transpired. A lot of things were changed and turned the other way around, all right? Again, go and do your research. And these thoughts can also be challenged, right? So it is not like it is it is the final or whatever, right? So I'm open to correction and whatever. Okay. Now, but I personally think that the woman was first created or formed before the man. Before the man. So I've written down some of my points and that I've done my research, but so I do not miss words. Let me, read from what I have written, down while we wait for our guest. While we wait for our guest, guys. But the logic is the woman was created or formed before the man, like I have previously stated, right? Because you cannot get a man from a man. You cannot get a woman from a man. But you can get a man from a woman, and you can get a woman from a woman. Now, I want you guys to ponder on that a bit, right? Now, this is what the old church, the Church of England, under the leadership of Constantine, King Constantine, and the Bishop Ubisius, the Church of Rome had to get rid of and change, so that you do not understand, or you do not know this, about yourself. They actually changed this and turn it the other way around, right? So I want you to understand that a lot of this concept was changed. It was absolutely obliterated. It was removed. It was removed. All right. So guys, we're actually waiting for our guests to come and talk about this topic, right? So just I'll need you to give me a second now. Please give me a second, guys. Waiting for a guest, just a minute. All right, just a minute, guys. All right. Right, the male cannot reproduce himself, but the female can. What does that tell? What does that tell you? And what does that mean? Right. It means if the woman also could decide whether she was going to produce a male or a female, I wanted to understand this now. The race of men could cease to exist. All right? As we now understand it as a double gender, that one time on earth was a tremendous, problem. I want you to follow me, but we are still waiting for our guest, guys. So we will go back again to why it is the way it is today. We'll go back to the cause, and then we'll go back to the spiritual, root of the problem, and we're going to understand why everything, is changed, and why this, ideologies and concept has been, forcefully, pushed on us, for decades, the brainwashing and a whole lot of things. I think it is time for many of these concepts to be changed and be challenged, right? So, guys, my goodness, I want you guys to hold on a minute. We're actually waiting for our guest. Give me a minute, guys. Give me a minute. I mean, if you all can hear me, please tell it in the chat room that you can hear me, please. If you all can hear me, state it in the chat room and raise the likes up, guys. Raise the likes up. Raise the likes up. Sooner or later, I'm going to put the link in the chat room while we wait for our guests. Let me hear a different point of view, and so we can actually proceed from there. Right. Guys, if you can hear me, please state it in the chat room that you can hear me, please. Now, another, another concept was ancient African women and Hindu women did not or never menstruated, right? So let's talk about a little bit about menstruation, right? Guys, we're waiting for our guest. Oh, thank you so much, the home care healer. Thank you. Right. Now, a lot of women, including myself, prior before now, we actually thought that all women do menstruate. Am I right? Put it in the chat room if you think so that all women do menstruate. Put it in the chat room. But again, let's challenge this thought. All right. And then we are going to be finding out the cause and why it is like this, the way it is in today's world that we're living, right? Now, not all women, on this planet menstruate. Also, not all women on this planet have ever menstruated, but all women, again, thinks they do. Most Hindu women do not and definitely did not menstruate. One of the famous Hindu women to achieve prominence in the world status was Hindua. Okay, so the home care healer. Let me see that. Right. All right, so an example of that is one of the Hindu famous and prominent women in the world status was who goes by the name Hindua Gandhi, right? She never menstruated. She did not. She never menstruated. So you can look her up later if you want to, right? Also, most ancient African or Kemetic women never menstruate. Not any of the queens of Africa did did once they begin to know, once they begin to have knowledge of oneself, guys. We're actually waiting for our guest. Hopefully, he'll be joining us very soon. Hopefully, he'll be joining us very soon. Just a minute, guys. All right. Also, the Oracle of the Delphi, according to the Greeks, were a group of women, right? And it was said that the oracles never menstruate. Hello, Kinjani, how you doing? Now, if the blood lust and even the alkaline lubricant lust will cease and stop, but not only will women be very strong, but they will also give birth to babies without a man being around. So the woman has the ability to give birth to babies without a man. Again, we are going to be understanding why, why that, has, is changed, the reason for that, right? So guys, yeah, so the woman can actually give birth to babies without a man or without a sperm. Let me put that without a sperm, right? Because in this modern day and time, the woman is being programmed to think that they can only depend on the sperm of a man to give birth to a baby, right? Now, based on my little research, it all boils down to the white European, court lie, the medical doctors lie, which came, which is pretty much right, which is pretty much about this false health care and all of these things, right? The European, all of these lies. Now, that is where the problem started, and that is where, the root cause started. As long as the women, keep depending on this European and this white coated lie of a medical, health care and all of these things, that is where the problem lies. Because all they've done is lie to you. And they're not telling the truth. So why was it possible that ancient African women were able to do most of these things, but today it is not possible? Again, it goes back to the ancient African health, and you compare it with this modern day health. They told you that everything ancient about Africa, our medical system was bad, was wrong. So the moment the women started deviating from that, and depending on the European system, European health system. That was where the problem all started. That was where, it all started. Now, there was a theory called the August theory. It is spelled Ovist, pronounced R. It was proven, not postulated by Dr. Professor Jack Lowell of Stanford University, that the embryo develops from the egg alone and does not require spermatozoa. Hold on, guys. Give me a minute now. I'm waiting on our guests, guys. Oh my God. All right, so I'm going to put the link in the chat room. So if you want to call it, if you want to call in, let's go ahead and do so, right? Give me a minute to do that. Let me put the link in the chat room. So if you want to call in, go ahead and do so. But we'll be talking about the problem, the causes, and then we'll talk about, the solution. All right, the link is in the chat room now, guys. If you want to call in and share your thoughts, if you want to call in, please go ahead and do so. The link is in the chat room. Go ahead and call in. Go ahead and call in. I want to hear a different perspective. I want to hear your point of view. I want to hear what you think. Now, again, let's go back a little about the concept and the ideology that, of Adam and Eve, of Adam and Eve. And we were taught back in the days that, Adam was first created by God and later Eve from the rib of the man. Now, how possible is that the woman comes out from the man? That's impossible. That's not possible. Because the man does not have a womb. So how can, again, this is the, the brainwashing, and this is the thing, the Vatican. And I mean, we'll go deep. I'm just waiting. I don't want to go talk more about these things. I'm waiting for the guest to join us, and he'll be the one to explain this thing and put it in perspective, guys. So I just don't want to be the one to talk more about this. So I'm just, trying to to keep everything, to keep the house busy for now, guys. So while we wait on our guest. Right. So the link is in the chat room. If you want to call in, please go ahead and do so. The link is in the chat room. If you want to call in, go ahead and do so, guys. The link is in the chat room. If you want to call in, go ahead and do so. If you have anything to share while we wait for our guest, please, you can call in and let's have your point of view. And let's have your point of view, guys. Right, so right, so this ideology that the man is God, the man, is this and that. The first creation, due to my research, the first person ever walked this planet was a woman. and not the man. Again, these are secret that, the Vatican Church and many of these things, they're hiding, they're covering. All right, guys, our guest is here. So without further ado, I'm just gonna bring him in so that he can start from from where I stopped. All right, thank you so much for your patience, guys.
All right, can you hear me?
Yeah, I can hear you.
I'm clear. Right. I'm not echoing.
You're fine. You're fine. You're not echoing. All right, guys. So this is Brother Takunda Kamkwamba. Did I pronounce your name correctly?
Yeah, you did. You did.
All right. Thank you so much. So, I have highlighted a little bit about, the woman being the God. I also stated that the woman was created before the man, right? Yeah. Again, let's go a little back to the concept and the ideology of creation, that they stated that in the Bible and all of those religious books and all of those fictions, I call it fiction, right? That the man was created before the woman, and the woman came out of the man, which I think it is ridiculous. So, what do you have to say about that? So I wanted to go deep into this.
Okay, thank you so much. And I want to say hi to the audience, to the viewers. So what happens is our ancestors long ago, before even everything, we used to worship in the name of the mother. That's one. We used to pray in the name of the mother because if you see ancient Egyptians, you see there's a scarabard beetle, a dung beetle. So that symbol, they understood that symbol, the scarabard beetle, it can lay eggs without a mat. So if it mates, it dies. You see, so it mates if it dies. So they were symbolizing. It was a symbol of women, that they are the ones who were created first, who came out, who were brought first into this planet by the supreme God and the supreme creator. She's a she. She has a feminine energy. So that's when, and also women, they didn't menstruate. I think you have stated that. I was just watching through the phone, so I wanted to connect through the computer. So that's
that. Yeah. Who is this? Smotin.
Yeah.
Okay, so Smotin is saying never menstruated. BS. I don't know what that BS stands for, honestly. So I think if you have a different point of view, I have put the link in the chat room, so you can come on here and then state your point of view. But I think that you don't have the right to dispute without a fact or without anything. We are not here for feelings and emotions now. So if you want to come online now and and state what you think and talk about your own perspective, you're very much welcome to do so. All right. So please, Brother Takunda, please go on.
Okay. So I know. I also didn't admit it when I started researching these things. I was like him, believe me, because I'm a man also as well. I didn't want to accept that. So you can't get a woman from a man, but you can get a man from a woman. You can get a woman from a woman. So what people they should understand, each and every race, they have what is called a mitochondrial DNA. Each and every race, it doesn't matter, Chinese, Indian, Asians, Europeans. So that only mitochondrial DNA, you can only trace it to a black woman. This is one thing that people they didn't know. So that's one thing. And also two, when you see in the Vatican, they're the ones who are responsible to even compile our Bible. The ancient text we have, it's the Quran, it's the Bible. So they were patriarch people, so they didn't admit, right. They didn't want to admit to themselves that it can be like that. A woman was created before man, so they had to do what? They had to rewrite history in the Council of Seer. Everybody knows that they had to rewrite history. They had to say no, a man was created before, which doesn't make sense. But if you see now the Catholic, if you go online, You see the priest, the Catholic, the Pope worshiping the Black Madonna. You see rich people who are
Right.
very highly educated in the archives, in the secret base. They have a statue of Madonna where they go and worship because they know these things. They know that the supreme creator, the benevolent creator of everything, the mother of all the gods, she has a feminine energy. You
Right.
see, they know these things. So who we are when we were just handed over the Bible through colonialism, and then we want to claim like we know more than them. So why I know this also as well, I sat down with people who are Jesuit. Jesuit is one of those people who translated these ancient texts. And remember also, you must understand, in the Roman archives, there are other ancient texts that they are forbidden. They don't allow anybody to go into, to dig into. That's one thing. So you cannot get a woman from a man. That's insane. This whole story of saying, oh, women, they are menstruating because he was being punished. He gave Adam an apple. Now he's suffering menstruation and what? No, we'll do another story there in spirituality. What happened? What made people to lose their 12 strings of DNA? But for now, women, we need to accept that this is the key. That's why there's the whole system, this matrix wants to put Black women in the bottom of the pyramid because they know the power of the Black woman. They know the power. And the Black women, they were leaders. The Ndambi women of Congo, the Amazonian women's, of all the prince and the queens and the warriors women, they were not menstruating when they gained knowledge of self, and they didn't need fertilization from a man, because what happens is, if you can go and research, please don't conclude. They didn't. So what happens is, if a woman know herself, she can able to vibrate his egg, and then it start procreating a baby. It was scientific proven.
Right.
You can go online and see the evidence that they did on Harvard and Harvard University. They proven that. You see, women, they didn't menstruate when they gain knowledge of self. It only happened they cooked the whole lie like in the 80s. In the 80s. But all along. Yes.
Right, and brother, do not forget that part of the issue that made the woman to lose that is the lie of the European medical health, sector, the system. Right? Again, yes. They deceived you, and they told us that our ancient medical system was bad. That we have to depend, because they want to get you, so they use their medical, because the worst thing. I mean, this medical system that we are operating on today is anti-black, is anti-black woman. Trust me, yes. The medical system is whack. It's against the Black woman. It's against the Black woman, honestly. So, guys, that was where the problem all started, because you look at the food, what they've started, the GMOs, all these things they've started adding to the food, and the most experimented, people is the woman, is the female.
Yes.
They're doing all sort of experiment on the woman, particularly the Black woman. So please go ahead, brother.
Yeah. So even Europeans, they do admit this. We are talking about high professors who have done years and years of research.
Yes.
They are even admitting this, that a Black woman is a source of all humanity.
Right.
You see, they're even admitting this. It's not just something that you just pick up in the streets and then you start, I want to run with this concept, or because I want to be liked by women. No. This is a fundamental truth, and they know this is the key. And this is the key to. So we worshipped in the name of the mother, because a woman, she was created before any man. So that's why we knew that the universal creator, she has a feminine energy. She gives life. No wonder this ark, the Egyptian ark, it's a womb, and then it shows that all those things. So the Egyptian knew that, but through invasion, through burning our ancient texts, through inventing our library, all those things, and then we lost all those knowledge. Remember, they never allowed Black people, even who were taken from the American, to read or to know anything. They only allowed them to read the Bible, which they gave you. You see, there was an indoctrination through us. There was an indoctrination.
Also,
yeah, you can continue.
And also, in ancient times, some part of Africa, I can't speak for all. I really don't know. Prohibit the woman from gaining knowledge. That was after colonization, right? That was after colonization. The woman was banned or prohibited from education, and that was done on purpose. I just want to put out there when you were talking about the educational system, right? So go on, please.
Yes. And you are right, my sister. Yes, that was done on purpose. It was more like Eurocentric, the Constantine. So that's why, because they knew that for them to penetrate, they need to destroy this. They need to rewrite so that we can have a dependence on them, so that they can do this false. I always call it false generosity. I always call it like that. It's fake generosity. A person who pretends that he's giving you something, and then he's giving you this false generosity. So that's what happened. I know people, but we'll urge you, if you are denying this, we'll urge you to go and research. Go and research about the mitochondrial DNA. Go and research all those things. You will see every race, Chinese, everyone. I don't want to repeat myself, but everyone. I know it's very shocking. It was so shocking for me that I had to spend hours, thousands of hours researching it, confirming this. And then I had to ask one thing, I had to ask now a Caucasian person. He said, yes, there are things that we didn't want to admit to ourselves, that a Black woman, she's a mother of all. You see, they even know this, because from a Black color, you can produce these other races. Not speaking that we were invaded by other beings from other planets. That's a story for another day. We'll try to do it on Zoom, so that maybe perhaps we can pull up some graphic image so that it can make sense. So that's one thing that we must understand. I know I came to the realization that we cannot achieve what if a woman, a Black woman, a melanated woman, they begin to know knowledge of self. That's when, as Black men, we can able now to rise. This is one thing that we can always know. If we can't do anything when our women are still in the bottom of the pyramid.
Right.
We can't, we are doing nothing. So women, they know this. That's why there is this putting down. That's why there is this sponsoring of young women in America for them to go half naked so that they can degrade a Black woman. You see, it's all designed.
Right. Again, when you talk about this feminine energy and all of these things, right? So when a woman is, showing off this, feminine energy and all of those things, like a lot of those, most of the times, particularly Black men, they always put the woman down. They talk about, she's a feminist, she's a that, she's a feminist, oh, she's dangerous, she's this. Why is it that the Black men are always, not some Black men, not all now, why is it that some Black men are always threatened by the woman, by the Black woman? What is it? Because I don't think that they understand that should the woman, I mean, do you think that as a man, African man, do you think that, again, that the woman should be subjected totally? Because again, you're always attacked by most of the Black men. When they're doing well successfully, they're, showing that strength is natural. Those things are natural. So you cannot subdue the strength, the energies that is coming out from a woman. So it is unnatural to even state some certain words to say, oh, they're feminists, oh, they are this, their mind have been corrupted without even knowing the roof and going back to history to know exactly. Again, we have forgotten who we are. Our conscious mind, I always say that it has been conquered. That is why, as women, we must know who we truly are as a people.
Yes.
That is
Yeah,
why
that
there
is,
is this war between the female and the male gender. Who has put the war between the female and the male gender, and why is it so? Why is it so?
it goes through indoctrination, because I believe that Africans were indoctrinated. Our educational system, we were indoctrinated, just like our brother right now. He's saying, I don't know, he's a brother or he's saying it's BS. No, it's only that, I believe me, when I was when I first time heard this, I paused. I was like, no, that's BS. That's BS. A woman was taken out of the rib. No. When I really begin to sit down, and even sitting with people who know how to translate these ancient texts, they said, no, that is not how. This is why we are. She's saying, yes. This is how we are saying what. This is why even the Catholic Church, the priests, the ones who know the truth, the Jesuits, that's why they are worshiping the Mother Mary, the Black Madonna in secret. You can go on the internet like right now, and then you Google, you see the Pope. They just removed the image recently. You see, they just removed the image.
Hold on now, Smitten, do you want to come online here and then you state your fact? Because again, we are open to we are open to debate. We want to hear your perspective. We want to hear your point of view. The link is in the chat room, so you can come online here and share your own perspective. Right? You can come online and share your perspective. All right. So, right, go on, brother. Please raise the likes up. Raise the likes up, guys.
So this is one thing that we must come to an admission and to realize that. And also, one thing I know, maybe the anger. Black women, like our women, they didn't go around waving flag in front of a man and say, "Hey, we are more dominant than you are," and all those things. No, that's Europe-centric. They didn't do that. They didn't do that. They had knowledge of self. They knew that they were leaders. They knew that and also they were our gatekeepers, our spiritual gatekeepers. This is one thing this is why sometimes this is why our nations are not organized, because we were taught how to put down women in the bottom of the pyramid. So all those things. So this is, look at the history, the Nzinga women, the Nzinga in here in Congo, the Ashanti women, the Amazon women, all those women, they didn't go on menstruation. Even the Hindu Gandhi in India, she didn't go on menstruation. When she started practicing the things of not his self, the things, that's when she started, and then she went back. We are not talking about fibroids here. There's a total different thing about fibroids, and they didn't need, when a woman know herself, she didn't need a fertilization from a man. Hence, that's why this symbol of the scarabid beetle in Egypt, that's why the ancient Egyptian, they knew this. That's why they knew this.
Right.
You see, that's why they knew this. So if you have question, and also, I think after this, we can do this. We can also send maybe some link of the video so that they can also learn, so that they cannot think like I'm just picking it up from somewhere else, so that you can also learn, you can know, and then you can more understanding it more better. We have to come to this realization if we want to really, 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 really take our place.
Right, because the men, particularly because I want to address the black man, because most of the time it is always the black man who wants. Not all. Let me not generalize. Let me say some, not all. Now, some of the black men, but the percentage is high, right? They're always attacking the black woman. I really don't get it, and I don't understand it, because they think that they don't understand these things. And when we are going to go deep and talk about the spiritual implications of, causing pain to the Black woman, the spiritual implication of making the Black woman to go angry, the spiritual implication of making the Black woman cry, the spiritual implication of making, putting the Black woman down and doing all of those things, because the man without the woman, the Black woman, absolutely, you're nothing. You're nothing. Takunda, you can attest to the fact about what I'm saying, because it is the woman that makes the man complete.
Yes.
So without the woman, the Black woman, the Black man is just incomplete. You're just, I don't know how I'm going to put it. So that thing of respect, it was reversed. The thing of respect was reversed. Now they place it that, oh, the woman has to be the one to subject totally to the man. But the man should subject, let me not use the word subject, to be the one to, have to respect the Black woman, because that is the God right there. This is a fact. That's the God right there. Again, I'm stating it. And if you look at the name, male, you look at the name female. This is just my logic now. If you look at the name male, if you look at the name female, you see that the name male is just one aspect, but the name female is two aspects, right? It has to do with a woman and a man, right? It's because the man and the woman came out from the woman. You cannot and will never get a woman from a man, neither can you get a man from a woman. This is impossible. So those whole ridiculous, ideology and concept about Adam, that Eve came out from Adam, all those, those things. I mean, you guys need to go and do your research. It is impossible for a man to reproduce. Where is the womb? You don't have a womb. How can you even think of, saying that you're reproducing? You can't. It is only the woman that has the ability, and there are some animals, right, and mammals that can actually, even act sexually and, can actually reproduce without a mate, right? I've forgotten some of the names. They can reproduce without mating or any of those things. And there is this particular one that is in also, it is in maybe in the pyramid of Egypt. It was used to design some of these things. I really, but I think I'm going to, when we talk about...
It's a dung beetle. It's a dung beetle.
Right.
Scarabard beetle. Yes.
Right. So it was even proven that when this, what did you call it again?
It's a dung beetle, a scarabard dung beetle.
Yeah, that when it actually mates or mates sexually, that's when it dies. That's when it dies. But prior before then, it can reproduce without mating and live even longer and longer and longer. When it mates sexually, that's when it dies. So listen, so we need to challenge many of these ideologies, many of these concepts that is shoved to our truth for decades. These lies, we need to unveil it, go do your research. And again, I'm particular about the health system. The health system is full of lies. It's full of lies. A lot of things the ancient African health system, used to be. We didn't used to get sick. Many of these diseases were not there. A lot of things, we did, they copied. And they said, okay, let me read this. Go ahead, bro. Just go ahead and let me look for this article. I need to read it again so people can be able to understand why we are targeted.
Yes. So there was no sickness. We didn't have all those things. Yeah. But anyway, I'm gonna specify that if we have to challenge these things, we have to sit down and also rewrite history. Because we must remember, it's the exploit of the hunter that you will get to hear, but you will not hear of the bravery of the lion. You will hear the exploit of the hunter when the lion does not stand up and write its own story. So that's why we are now setting things straight. We must come to the realization that we were bamboozled. We were lied to in so many ways. You see, we were lied to. You see, okay, if we are saying, okay, woman was not created before a man, but why are they worshiping the Catholic Church where there is in the Vatican City, where there is all the ancient texts? Why are they worshiping the Black Madonna in secret? We must ask all those questions.
Right.
Why are they worshiping the Black Madonna in secret? Why are they doing all those things?
It's because we are not, we're not challenging many of these thoughts. I mean, it's a provocative one. We're not challenging. We're just comfortable accepting, receiving, taking,
Yes.
digesting many of these things that they put out there for us. I mean,
Yeah.
it is high time we use our logics. Now, let me again read this article that I came across again from the British Parliament. This was published from the British Parliament on 2nd February 1835. I want you to pay attention to this, guys. Now, this was written by Lord Macaulay's. Now, this is what he said. I have traveled across the length and breadth of Africa, and I have not seen one person who is a beggar, who is a thief. Such wealth I have seen in this country, such high moral values, right? People of such caliber that I do not think we would ever conquer this country. Now, Africa is referred to as a country here, unless we break the very backbone of this nation, which is her spiritual, listen to this, and cultural heritage. And therefore, I propose that we replace her old and ancient education system, her culture, for if the Africans think that all that is foreign and English is good and greater than their own, they will lose their self-esteem, their native culture, and they will become what we want them, a truly dominated nation. This was published from the British Parliament, on 2nd of February, 1835. So you can imagine, what did they target? They targeted our educational system,
Yes.
our spirituality, our culture, and our tradition. Now let's look at it in the modern day and time. We are now practicing the foreign religion that they substituted for our spirituality. Our educational system in Africa is all about the Eurocentric and the European system of education, particularly the British.
Yes.
Let's look at the culture and the tradition. Currently, just go to the continent of Africa, you think like you part of the continent of Africa is Europe. It's Europe. Because we are there, we are looking foreign, we love everything. Again, as you stated, it's the brainwashing. But what they did, it was on purpose. They forced us, it was through pains. Those era of colonization was through pains. We were educated, we know everything, but it was important for them to force the educational system to brainwash us, to force their culture to brainwash us, to force their religion. And today, many Black people are they will kick against the African tradition, the African spirituality, the African culture. They will call it all sort of names: bad, evil, stupid, many things. I think something is really wrong with us as Black people, because if we are not, we don't come to the realization of who we are and challenge this concept that was shoved on us either through colonization, through slavery, and many of these things. Many of us are still in the church, worshiping this white Jesus without even knowing the root and the origin, where it came from, where it started. It started in Africa, but it was changed. But how can you understand these things, from a Eurocentric point of view? Because they changed the history. They wiped off the history. there's a pyramid, like I stated before, in the southeastern part of Nigeria. It's called the Insude pyramid, built exactly the same. It is called the step-by-step pyramid. We also have the step-by-step pyramid of Egypt. Now, it was built exactly the same, everything what is there. The evidence is still there. Why was it important for the British missionaries to destroy that pyramid? Every evidence of our ancient civilization, they destroyed.
And the Nigerian, they used to call Urau. That's how they used to call him. Urau.
Right.
Yeah. The head with the falcon head. Urau. So all those things, we must come to an admission that, you know what, we need to rewrite, we need to relearn what we were indoctrinated with. And like we just read there, that they knew that for them to penetrate us is to destroy that our pyramid. You see,
Right.
they had to take the black woman, put him in the bottom of the pyramid. They know that everything is going to be disorganized.
Right.
So when we don't admit this truth to ourselves, I know it was very difficult for me especially. When we don't admit this truth for ourselves, we will never do anything as men. We will form organization, we will do whatever, but we need a black woman to rise up and to know herself so that we can able to take not this continent, but this planet back to our hands. Because
Right.
this planet belongs to us.
Right.
This is one thing that we need to do. We need to come to a realization that we were indoctrinated with a lie. This is one thing we need to come and realize, that we were indoctrinated with a lie. If you are
Right.
saying, okay, a black woman, he was not, but why does she has a mitochondrial DNA that has every human being on the face of the planet? Every race has a mitochondrial DNA. When you trace every race, it goes back to a black woman. And then
Right.
you want to tell me that a black woman was created, was taken out of a rib of a man and whatever. We don't have those things. A black woman has so much that even us black men, we don't have.
Right.
It's a matter of humanity. We need to come to that realization. That's why we worshipped in the name of the mother. We didn't worship in the name of the Father, of the Son, of the Holy Spirit. No. That was changed by Constantine and then by the King of England and by the Constantine in the Nair of Seer. They knew that the power of indoctrination, that's when there was an invasion there. When a person changes your belief, it's an invasion. He indoctrinates you. And then he no longer needs. And like right now, I was hearing somebody was telling, right now they are worried because on lockdown, they are now teaching their kids at home because that indoctrination is no longer there. They are now trying to fast track now for kids to go back to school because they know the system of schoolship, it's about indoctrination. That's why they are pushing that in African countries. I was just talking to one of the educational system person in our group here in Southern Africa. We say they are pushing it. Like in Kenya, they are pushing it so for kids to go back to school, so that they can go and be indoctrinated. You get to be indoctrinated for their matrix.
Brother, when we are talking about a system of education, I don't understand. Again, this is 2020. Your ignorance is your fault. This 2020, because you can't keep saying that. We can't keep saying that we're brainwashed, we're indoctrinated, we're all of these things. When is the right time, and how are we going to, wake up? In Africa, how can we still be operating? Because I believe that the educational system is a key for liberation, for the mental liberation. Because when they target your mental mind, when they conquer you mentally, of course, you're already conquered physically. So look at the result that is happening. And the most difficult set of people that, the most difficult set of people that will fight any change in the Black community for us to go back to our true ancient, system of education are those Black people who studied in Harvard University, who studied in all of this, university, because they are brainwashed to be loyal slaves, not to challenge the system of education.
Yes.
Not to know them. Some of those people, they are just lost, absolutely
Yeah.
lost. Real education is outside the metrics. It's outside this educational system that is there. That is when you can be able to gain consciousness. Consciousness is very important. So we need to go back again to the system of education that is being practiced in Africa. We need a reform. We need a review. We need the crushing down of the colonial system of education that has been in place for decades and nothing or little has changed. They keep brainwashing our children. They teach them the European history. Why is it that our history up until today is not being taught in Africa? They are still learning about the European system of education. Again, in one of these, Burna Boy, he mentioned something in this is recent song, right? He talked about in Nigeria, right? He talked about Mungo Park, right? This Mungo Park place, river, right? This is a place in Nigeria where our ancestors has been living for decades. Now, this man, European man who goes by the name Mungo Park, they said he was the one that discovered that place. How can you discover a place that people were already living for decades and then instilled it in the history that he was the one that discovered the place, and we were learning about these things. We were saying that he was actually the one, if you don't write his name during history, that he actually discovered the place our ancestors had been living for decades. He came all the way down from Europe to Nigeria, and he discovered a place that our ancestors had been living for decades, and it was instilled in the history that he actually discovered that place. You see the brainwashing.
It's also the same way here in Victoria Falls, in Mosiwa Tunya, actually, because the name Victoria Falls, it was when David Livingstone came here, he actually thought the Mosiwa Tunya, the Victoria Falls, because he also thought it's actually a bush burning. And then the locals said, no, it's water. It's water falling. He said, and then the local took him there. When the local people took him there, and then he said, oh, that's waterfalls. That's when he named the Victoria Falls. That's why the Victoria Falls was named the Victoria Falls. It was named Mosiwa Tunya. And then he renamed the river, which was called Kasambabezi. Kasambabezi, it was called, those who know the river takes a bath in the river. It's in Tonga, the first indigenous people to live in these waters. So it goes on to that when they changed all that, they started saying David Livingstone discovered the Victoria Falls. We had to change that in history. Anyway, I wouldn't want to come out of the topic. So we just want to put it to a point whereby when something is said by an African person, it's not the true. But when something it comes to be said by a European person, it's the true. And now, for those ones who are denying, if you can go online about now, you can see white doctors, white professors admitting this, so that you can able to believe in this.
Right. I mean, yeah, you stated it because it is important for some of our people. If it is not coming out from the mouth of a white man, they will kick against it. They will never believe. So, like he stated, now go and listen to and confirm from the mouth of your colonial masters or from the mouth of your masters, so that you can be able to believe. Right. So if they have not stated it, you will not believe, because it's coming from the black people. You cannot believe. So black people would always put their other people down. We never believe in them. We never trust their concept or their ideologies. We'll always put them down until it comes from the mouth of a white man. They will never ever trust it. So now go and do your research and listen to your masters, white masters, speak, so that you can be able to believe or be able to understand that what we are saying is no joke. It's no joke at all.
Yes.
So because again, for me, go on.
So they know all those things. They know this is where there is a key. We must come to the realization and to the admission that for us to go forward, because otherwise we're going to talk and talk Pan-Africanism. Hey, we are taking the land back. If we don't address these issues, these are the issues that are the major issue.
Right.
These are the issues that are major issue. Otherwise, we'll be just hitting the bush.
Right.
If we don't address these issues, and also as African men, melanated men, if we don't admit this to ourselves. I know we were raised in a prejudice system. I also was raised in a prejudice system where in the morning I was told that's why a woman is going on menstruation is because he sinned. He gave a man an apple, so that's why the world it has fell into sin. No, it's not about that. There was a manipulation of DNA, and there was a manipulation of other beings. We'll talk this up. I think we'll try to do the zooming so that we can also have some pictures and also some videos.
We're gonna have this conversation in series, because now we are talking about we're identifying the problems, we're identifying how we fell, we're identifying what went wrong, how we came into this level and this position that we are today. Now it's going to be in series, so the next time we'll be addressing the solution, we'll be addressing how we can come back to ourselves and gain consciousness, right, on learning many of these and challenging these concepts and ideologies, right. And also we'll talk about the spiritual aspect, which is very, very important. Until we understand the spiritual aspect, nothing or little will change. So it is very important that we teach our people, we make them understand, we challenge them to go and do research, we challenge them to go and question things. Don't just sit your ass down and accept all this garbage, that they throw and shove. Again, I'm asking, why was it so important? Why was it so important for them to use the male figure against the female figure, to always put the woman down in many aspects? Yes. In many, there's something went wrong there. We must question a lot of these things. Yeah. So until the woman rise, dear black men, nothing is going to happen in your life. So all those finger pointing and all those things that, the women are this, the women are that, is because the woman is down. As the woman remains down, nothing is going to change. Nothing will change. Until the woman rise, that is when you're going to see a shift.
Because that is also why, here,
go on.
Also here in Southern Africa, we called in Ndebele, it's in Zulu also as well. They used to call a woman Indlovukazi. Indlovukazi, it means mother of all the gods.
Right.
This is how they used to respect women, the queen mother. They used to call them Indlovukazi, and he was the one who was making the decision. Right. The people, they suggest consensus, and then they go and then they make a final decision. More like in an elephant way. The elephant, the female, she's the one that she leads the herd. She shows them where to eat, where to go, where there's water, and then she's the one she keeps the group together. So we need to come to that realization, brothers and sisters, for us to go to our heydays, for us to restore ourselves. We need to understand the past. We need to understand that. If we are saying, okay, that's a lie, but why the Catholic priest in secret, they are worshiping the Black Madonna in secret? Why? Why? If they say, okay, why? Those are the questions that we must always ask ourselves. Okay, why a black woman, she has a mitochondrial DNA that has every human being, Russians, whatever, I don't want, everyone who was born by a woman, when you trace his DNA back, I think thousands and thousands, generations back, you find it in a black woman. We must always ask that question. Why it's not in a black man? Because we all if the man is quote unquote the dominant gene, is all of those things, right? So why is it that it wasn't from the black man? Why is it that it was from the black woman? Yeah,
it was the whole concept of the whole religious concept, right? Because you see how they were fierce in pushing this concept on Africans, right? Because they targeted our ancient educational system, they targeted our spirituality, they targeted our culture, and they targeted our tradition.
Yes.
Today, the Black woman is having so many complications. Why? Because we are no longer trusting on the ancient African system that we knew, that we've been used to for decades, that has always been working for us. We have cure for everything. We're able to give birth to 30, 40, 50 children without stress, without issues. But hence, since we start depending on this foreign white system of health system, everything started changing. Even the body system, everything started changing. So many complications, diseases, a lot of things. That should tell you something. That should tell you something. So you cannot trust on this system. You cannot trust on this system. We need to go back to our ancient system and how we used to practice it before. And let's look at the food that we consume. There is also a spiritual implication.
Yeah.
Now we are having so many complications because of what we eat. We didn't used to have all of this. We did not. So can we go back into eating what our ancestors, what we used to eat before? Because these are the things that makes us.
That's the truth. Yeah, that's the truth. We must admit, as gentlemen, I know I'm a man also as well. We must come to a realization. This is the realization that we must come to if we want to go. Why attacking so much? Why degrading? If it's not that, why degrading? Why attacking so much a Black woman? This is one thing that we must pause the question and ask ourselves, because they knew that.
Right. And again, why is it that it's a threat for the energy of a Black woman? Why is it a threat to many, especially globally in the world? It is a threat to everybody, and I don't even understand why.
Yeah.
And many why is it a threat? And they're pushing so many stupid narrative on the Black man. Yes. Because the most respected, the woman was the most respected and mother figure, or how do I call it, in the nation when it comes to the African setting.
Yes.
Was respected by both women and men. But today, the disrespect that many Black women are having all over, particularly that is coming from most of the Black men. As long as you keep disrespecting the Black woman, your life can never be full. It can never be, how do I put it now? Your life will not be complete. Will always remain at the bottom. You will always remain at the bottom. It depends on the Black woman to liberate the Black race. It all depends on the Black woman. So we'll be dealing on the spiritual. We'll be dealing on the spiritual the next time we're talking about this topic. So it's going to be in series, like I've stated. So the next time we come on to talk about this, we'll talk about the spiritual aspects, right? How it all, how we fell and everything, and what went wrong. We'll deal with it spiritually, and then we'll see how we can correct it. We need to correct this. You understand? We need solution. We need to correct this. All right. So we have less than 10 minutes to close this. So if you have any question, please put it in the chat. Leave your questions, right? We'll be answering it. And if you want to come online, the link is in the chat. The link is in the chat. So less than 5 minutes, you can be able to say your point of view. Right. Go ahead, brother. What do you have to say before we go?
brothers and sisters, this is what we have to come to a realization. These are the things that I had to, like, it astonished me. These are the things that I came to the realization when I was doing through research and reading and listening to so many documentaries. You know, that's one thing. If you now see even Caucasian people admitting this to themselves, that's when you get to see, wow. You can find even the video on YouTube. You will see them admitting to themselves that, no, this is what happened. You see, so we must come to that, because there are spiritual implications which we're gonna deal with that topic maybe in the next show, because of time. But we must understand and we must come. So we must not be threatened. And also, when a Black woman knows herself, when she has knowledge of herself, she's not too pompous, you know, like this Western thing of saying feminine power, going around waving flags. They didn't do all those things. You see, we didn't have that enough.
Exactly. Yes. So we didn't need to show it off because it was natural. It was like this. So how do you show it? Because again, it was pushed. It was a concept again that was pushed by the Europeans, right? Not because the African woman was not a feminist by nature, right? We didn't have to come on and say, oh, I'm a feminist, I'm a this, I'm a that, you know. Again, we were there to help, you know, our men. We were there to cater for them,
to lead.
Let me
I always say this.
The right word, to lead them.
Yeah, it's like a bully.
They changed everything.
It's like a bully. Somebody bullies you because you are better than him, or he or she knows that you are greater than him. No one can ever can suppress something that is not better than him, or something that is not greater than him.
Right. Again, that's a point right there. Because again, I've seen many situations, right, whereby the woman knows it better, the woman have the knowledge, the woman can actually bring about the solution and do the right thing. But the man is threatened. He doesn't want. He said, I'm the man here. He feels threatened. So when you feel that threat, I think something is wrong.
Yes.
Something is wrong somewhere. So if the woman knows it, has the knowledge, and of course it has been proven that the brain of the woman is larger and is why are you laughing?
It is. Yeah. And also the miscarriage. When I was researching also as well, a lot of boys, the women, they have a lot of miscarriages. The majority of the miscarriage, it's actually boys.
It's boys, right?
These are the things that you come to admit to yourself. We're like, what? Yeah, you find yourself all those things. So it's oh wow, I know, it's very interesting. So yeah, we must also. I know we're about to wrap up. I don't know how many minutes do we still have, or how many. So that's one thing. So that's one thing that you always know. A person can never suppress what it's not greater than you. It's like you can never. In our language, we say "ane bora anomakwa." So it's like, who has the ball in his feet? He's the one whom you can come and tackle. So you can never be threatened by something that it's lesser than you. You get to be threatened by something that is greater than you. So there's that feminine energy that is more greater than men, that sometimes we always feel threatened all the time. And also the world, and also that they always felt threatened. And then that's when they had to put the Black woman in the bottom of the pyramid. We must come to that admission to ourselves. So that's where there is the key.
Right. Again, a study that shows that the Y chromosome is declining. Right. It has lost 3% of genetics. Right. It will eventually disappear. It only has 45 genetics. Right. The X chromosomes has about 2,000 genetics.
Yes.
So I mean, so a lot of things that we need to change, and we need to reprogram our minds, and many of these lies that we have been taught, especially that's one particular about the system of education, the Eurocentric system of education. It has to be reviewed in Africa. We need to go back to our ancient. We had a system of education before it was totally crushed down, destroyed, history obliterated, stolen, a lot of things. Also they took our people that have the brains, the that knows about all these things. They stole them too, so that they can teach them. They took them as slaves so that they can teach them these things, right? And when they've learned about these things, they rewrite so that we can never ever come to the understanding of who we truly are as a people. So our conscious mind, we must protect our conscious minds. So we will be closing now, but
just
we
one second.
will be
And also
doing.
there's an agenda. Sorry about that, to cut you off. That's why there's an agenda, because they know that the Caucasian woman, its chromosome, it's fading. That's why they are pushing these interracial marriages. It's an agenda.
Right.
But that's a story for another day. That's a story for another day.
I've already covered that topic. So I've already covered that topic. So please go ahead and watch that video. Is the link? You can watch that video, right? So I've already covered that topic. So guys, thank you so much. We're going to do a part 2 of this topic, and then we'll be dealing with the spiritual aspect. The spiritual aspect is very important. We need to know who we are. We need to know ourselves. We need to come back to where we used to be. That is the only way we can be free totally, because there's a spell that has been cast upon us. So this spell, we need to reverse. We need to reverse. For those of you who are always bringing down and talking against what makes you, and that is the ancient African spirituality. You're against what makes you. How can you even be free and liberated when you're against the very thing that makes you as a person? So we have nothing to say about the white Jesus. We have nothing to say about this religion. We hold it. We don't want to let go. But whenever we mention anything that has to do with the ancient African spirituality, it's a problem. Oh, it is witchcraft. It is this. It is that. So guys, thank you so much for watching. I truly appreciate you all. Please raise the likes up, share this video, and go do your research. We are open to correction, right? So please, it's a provocative thought. Go and do your research and all of those things, right? Thank you so much for joining. Thank you, Brother Takunda. I truly appreciate you for your knowledge. I thank you so much, for all that, for your contribution. So thank you guys for tuning in. Go ahead and subscribe if you haven't already, and we'll see you next time. All right, have a wonderful day. And
thank you.
Goodbye.